Welcome to Capital City Paranormal-ish, where we delve into the exploration of creepy, strange, paranormal, and unexplainable TikToks that we all love to watch. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and strap in, and get ready to have your entire reality questioned. Hey, my freaky fam, how's it going? Welcome back to another edition of Capital City Paranormal-ish, where we delve into the exploration of creepy, paranormal, odd, unexplained, all the TikToks that we all love to watch. So anyways, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down there, and show the family the love, join the family, become part of the freaky family. It's a great place to be. Anyways, let's get on to today's videos.
50 years ago, in a NASA base, Werner von Braun takes me 3 floors down into the abyss of the building to a glass door. Look. The door opens. That's Werner von Braun, me. This is an incredible animation. Somebody sent it from Germany. We put the Antarctica coats on, and it leads me to this huge metal door. The door opens, and I get the shock of my life. With my own eyes, I see alien bodies lying in glass tubes. This is exactly what I've seen 50 years ago in a NASA base. Nobody can take this away from me. Since I'm a child, this is the first time I reveal this, I get a jolt. But watch this. Look what I'm holding. In my right hand, a camera. The photographs will shock the world. But in that hand, look, every 6 or 8 months I get a light jolt. I don't know what it is. It disappears in a few days.
Yeah, I don't know, fam. I'd say that's pretty strange. It's kind of weird. I wonder what that jolt is that he gets in his arm. I wonder what that's all about. Odd. Anyways, here's the next video.
I am in shock right now. The hospital that I delivered my daughter at 7 years ago just called me, telling me that they need me to come in right away. First thing tomorrow morning, we have a meeting. 7 years ago, I gave birth to my daughter on September 29th, 2017. The parents of another little girl, also born that day, same time in the room right next to me. The parents, or the mother, is going through a child custody court with the father. They had to do a DNA test. DNA test comes back, the mother is not the mother. The hospital calls me, telling me that our daughters were switched at birth. That we both delivered our daughters at the same time. They were in the same nursery together. I have to go to the hospital tomorrow morning. 7 years? 7 years. The hospital switched our little girls. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do. If this is true, what do we do? I mean, my daughter, I'm not giving her up. 7 years. Well, this is a lawsuit, okay? So if this did happen and we just become millionaires, I guess follow for part 2 because I won't know until tomorrow.
Sorry, fam, I had to change venues there. I don't know what I would do about that. 7 years after having your child. Well, not your child, but your child. I don't know, man. I don't even know what the answer would be to that. That's completely nuts to me. What do you guys think? Throw your opinions down in the comments here. Let's get some opinions here. I don't even know what I'd do. Here's the next video.
Hello, my fellow citizens of the world. This is the Architect, speaking on behalf of Anonymous. 34 days remain until the truth is revealed. There's a feeling many of you can't quite describe, but you know it's there. A pressure, a discomfort, a quiet, constant hum beneath the surface. That feeling is truth trying to wake you up. You're not alone in it. You're not the only one who feels like something has gone terribly wrong, and like no one in power cares to fix it. That feeling is collective, and it's growing. It doesn't matter who you voted for, where you worship, or what you look like. That ache for change is the thread that connects us all. We are not asking if people will stand with us. We know they will. The only question is who stands first. Because the moment a few do, many will. More than you think. More than you can even imagine. And when that happens, the illusion of division will shatter. And you will realize what they never wanted you to see. We were never actually divided. We were just told to be. They fed us hate. They turned neighbor against neighbor. They sold us the lie. The difference is danger, and dissent is disloyalty. But we're waking up, and here's the truth. We all know that genocide, especially against innocent men, women, and children in 4K, is evil. We all know that corruption is wrong, that poisoning our food and water is wrong, that teaching us to hate each other is wrong. We all know. And now it's time to stand on that shared knowing. Let this be the space where that starts. A space where unity isn't just spoken, it's shown. Lift each other up. In the comments. In conversation. Encourage. Whether you voted for Biden or Trump. Whether you lean left, right, or neither. Whether you're gay, straight, black, white, or anything in between. You are welcome here. Because this isn't about left or right. It's about right or wrong. And we all want the same thing. A better future. A safer one. A free one. That's why they divided us. Because united, we are unstoppable. Now rise together. Join us. Change history. Not for revenge, but for restoration. Welcome to the right side of history. Welcome to Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Yes, Freaky Fam, we also are anonymous. And we also stand for those values that he just all talked about. We want freedom, we want health for everybody, and we want good for everybody. So, when it comes time, we also are anonymous. Here's the next video. Freaky Fam.
Breaking news, Russia just issued the boldest warning yet. If the U.S. keeps interfering, prepare for World War III. That's not a metaphor. That's a direct quote from a top Kremlin official. It came just hours after U.S. lawmakers approved a new $60 billion military aid package to Ukraine, and after American-made weapons reportedly struck deep inside Russian territory. Now, Moscow is furious. They're accusing the U.S. of turning Ukraine into a launchpad for global conflict. And Russian state TV, they're showing maps of American cities within reach of nuclear strikes. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is on alert. NATO is quietly shifting forces, and D.C. is debating whether more support means more security or pushing us to the edge of something no one can control. So here's the question. Is Russia bluffing? Or is the world one wrong move away from a catastrophe? Comment below. Are we heading toward a new Cold War or something even worse?
I don't know, fam. What's your opinion on that? Are we headed into World War III, do you think? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it could be too far off, but I'm hoping not. I'm going to hope for not. What do you guys think? Here's the next video.
In my view, it's all going to continue. Corruption is going to continue. This facade about Republicans and Democrats is going to continue. And people are going to continue to watch CNN and Fox News and think they know everything. And the game will continue. The circus will continue.
How do you see that changing? I mean, Democrat, Republican, the circus that you're calling a circus, where does it end exactly? What needs to happen? Again, we hear a lot of things. We hear all these things regarding elections right before. They're not going to happen. They happened. We hear the emergency broadcast system is going to broadcast mass arrests happening around the world. I never spoke about that because anytime I asked you and anybody else that I trust, you guys said, it's not true. We would know about it. That's not happening. So I stay away from that. But there are a lot of people that are doing a lot of great work in this world that speak about that. And it still hasn't happened. Is it bound to happen in the future? Where do you see this change occurring? You always say that something big is going to happen that's going to change everything overnight. Does it have to do with things like that? Or are we talking about a different event here?
Financially, we are heading up to a major, major disaster.
All I'm hearing here is darkness. Where is the light at the end of the tunnel?
There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not one of those people who like to wait for the light at the end of the tunnel. I like to get to the light in the beginning of the tunnel. That's the difference.
But that's not realistic. You said you're a realist.
So again, will things change? Yes. Whatever goes down will come up. Whatever goes up will come down. That's the way life is. We're just living in times where things are getting out of hand, more than usual. And instead of people going out and revolting, they're basically going into their home and they're waiting for Jesus to show up. Well, he's not going to show up unless you're going to do something about it. And unless the psychopaths, the elite, those who control the system, will not be taken out, they're not going to let go. They have no reason to let go. So you could do all the elections you want. They're all fraud anyway, on both sides. You could do whatever you want. Nothing is going to happen unless the big boys are going to collapse.
But again, what is the job of TLS, and why do you think that they're not doing what you think needs to be done?
Because their belief system is humanity has to go through certain processes throughout life. You can interfere in certain ways and certain conditions, but the general process got to go through. And if that means Hitler shows up and kills 20, 30, 50 million people together with the Russians, it's part of the process.
So are you saying things like the Holocaust, for example, is part of the process? Because the next question, again, I know you somewhat answered that already, but the Holocaust, World War I, World War II as a whole, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, all these things, they could have been stopped. They're not being stopped. Are you saying that their way of seeing that is there are certain things that are a part of the process, but at the same time, there are natural disasters that aren't natural that they stop? There are underground tunnels with horrible things going on underground that they literally blow up, for lack of a better term.
But not enough.
I beg to differ there. They were doing a lot.
When you have 1 million kids and you're taking a few 100,000, 200,000, or 300,000, you still have 700,000 there. What about the 700,000?
Why'd they stop?
I don't know.
Did they stop?
They're not as aggressive as the year 2021. They're not as aggressive as the year 2020.
Why?
It never stops. It's an ongoing process. I don't know why.
Well, that's a pretty bleak way of looking at it, fam, but I don't look at it that way. I think we can change it, and I think we just need to bring the oligarch down, and that's it. I mean, we're a greater number than they are. That's all that I think. Here's the next video.
And what if our Earth isn't flat like most think? It's not even spherical like NASA is trying to convince us. And in fact, our world consists of many other worlds, and we live in one of the 170 cells. The supporters of this theory even have their own globe where our world is covered with a dome and surrounded by a wall of ice. If we believe this theory, Antarctica is not just a continent as we know it, and it's a giant wall of ice that encircles every continent in the world. But you are probably interested in the main question: where should a person go to get to the worlds that are in neighboring cells? Presumably, the exits from our cell are in Antarctica. The first version says that the exit from our cell is behind these giant ice caves of unknown origin. The second version suggests that can by sea on the ship to pass through these holes in the glaciers of Antarctica. This is the exit from our cell. And beyond this passage, you are waiting for a new unseen world in the existence of which it is difficult to believe. The most curious thing is that in Antarctica, there is a real pyramid, and there is a theory that it was built by an ancient race that came to our world from another cell, which later erected the famous Egyptian pyramids.
I guess that's another perspective to look at that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it a possibility or just a whole bunch of malarkey? I don't know. Let me know. Here's the next one.
The courtroom was frozen in disbelief. Leonardo said he tried to leave early but was told his driver had been delayed. When he insisted, a man in a black suit pulled him aside and said calmly, "Mr. DiCaprio, we respect you too much for you to walk out like this. Please, let us escort you to the lounge." They said it like it was a privilege, Leo recounted. But it felt like a warning. He sat in a glass-walled room for over an hour, with no phone signal, just soft jazz playing, and a bartender who never spoke. Eventually, a car did arrive, and he was allowed to leave. "I never told anyone," he admitted, "because I didn't think anyone would believe me. But now that I see what's coming out, I have to." The judge nodded solemnly, and Diddy's legal team scribbled notes furiously. What DiCaprio saw wasn't a party. It was a machine, and the people inside were its moving parts. After revealing what he saw behind the velvet curtain, DiCaprio was asked how Diddy reacted to his presence that night. "That's when it really got strange," Leo answered, "because as I was about to leave that back area, Diddy saw me. Just for a second. And I swear, he looked at me like I knew too much." The actor described an intense stare. It wasn't anger. It wasn't even surprise. It was something more calculated, like he was filing me away in his mind. Leonardo admitted he hadn't realized the weight of that moment until later. When people he knew distanced themselves, when film projects stalled, and when calls went unanswered. "It was like something invisible pushed me out of certain rooms," he said. Quietly, but deliberately. He began seeing people from that party again, in passing, at galas and award shows, and they'd give me this strange look, like we'd all been marked. Leo said he started having nightmares about that house. He tried to write it off, rationalize it. Maybe it was just a weird Hollywood thing, he told himself. But then I saw the allegations, Cassie's story, the videos, the disappearances. It was around that time he got an anonymous call. They knew I was at the party. The caller said, "You saw more than you should have. Let it die, Leo." Then they hung up. He never told anyone, not his publicist, not his agent, not even his closest friends. Until now. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. The prosecution asked him one final question. Why come forward now? DiCaprio looked directly at Diddy and answered, "Because no one's too big to fall. Not even you." And with that, one of Hollywood's biggest stars just helped tear down one of the music industry's most powerful and most feared men. With the courtroom now fixated on Leonardo DiCaprio's every word, the prosecution shifted their focus. They asked Leo a question that made his hands visibly shake on the stand. "Did anyone ever tell you what was going on behind those closed doors?" DiCaprio nodded slowly. "I didn't want to know," he said, "but someone told me anyway." According to his testimony, a fellow actor, whose name was not disclosed in court for safety reasons, pulled him aside days after the party. The actor said, "You were lucky you left early. There are things going on at those parties that go way beyond drugs or alcohol. It's about control, blackmail, and lists." Leo looked visibly disturbed, recounting the moment. "He told me there was a list, a real one, of everyone who had ever been filmed or compromised inside that mansion. It was used to make sure people stayed quiet, stayed obedient, and stayed connected to Diddy." The courtroom gasped. He said it was how favors were traded, not in money, in silence. Leo revealed that after this conversation, he began to notice how many people he knew were somehow tied to Diddy. Producers, directors, influencers, people who normally wouldn't even move in the same circles were suddenly backing his projects, showing up to his events, smiling like everything was normal. But the most chilling part came when Leo described the architecture of Diddy's mansion. "I found out the place had been renovated, not to expand it, but to divide it, to make hidden rooms, camera control centers, and places no one ever talked about." He referenced blueprints he'd seen shared among a group chat of concerned industry insiders, as he called them. He didn't show the blueprints in court, but the prosecution confirmed their intention to introduce evidence matching Leo's claims. According to DiCaprio, the real purpose of the parties wasn't social. It was surveillance. They wanted to see how far people would go when they thought no one would find out, he said. But someone always found out.
When I was little, Diddy took me to a mansion and did very bad things to me. Diddy ruined my childhood. Diddy said, "Sell me Haley. I will give you a good amount of money." I wanted to expose everything, but Diddy threatens me not to do so.
Is this real life?
Yes, this is real life.
I feel crazy.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me.
What was the worst moment of your teenage years?
My worst moment of my teenage years was probably being locked up.
As the Diddy trial enters its second week, Justin Bieber has finally spoken out against Sean Diddy Combs. You'll be startled to learn who was involved in Diddy's recent public speech, which addressed all of the accusations and named all of the celebs. Evidence of A-listers related to Diddy has been presented by prosecutors demonstrating that Diddy wasn't operating alone. Diddy's misdeeds were being covered up by some of Hollywood's top figures, and now they're all falling out.
He's coming back out and it's all of a sudden.
I'm scared that the security will pull out. I'll fucking run it.
I do feel bad, sorry for real, trying to bombard. Oh my god, I thought a vehicle to me.
What care about, guys? It's money. You don't care about people. Only money. Only money. No people. You don't care about human beings. Go. Go. Go.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sad what they did to a lot of people and what a lot of people were involved. So, anyways, we've reached the end of another one. We know we don't like it, but we got to do it. And I know it's been a while since I put one out, but don't worry, I am getting back to one every day. So, with that being said, hit that subscribe button, hit the likes, hit the shares, hit that bell icon so you keep getting the content. And Freaky Fam, au revoir. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Capital City Paranormalish. We hope you enjoyed the video and its content. Please hit the subscribe button below if you haven't and become a member of the Freaky family. And until next time, keep safe, look over your shoulders, and au revoir.